Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a wise and just king named Rajendra. King Rajendra was beloved by his people for his fairness, kindness, and wisdom. Under his rule, the kingdom flourished, and the people lived in harmony and prosperity. One day, as King Rajendra strolled through the royal gardens, he noticed a brilliant flash of gold among the bushes. Curious, he approached and found a magnificent golden feather lying on the ground. The feather shimmered in the sunlight, and its beauty was unparalleled. The king picked it up and took it to his palace. Intrigued by the feather, the king consulted his royal advisors. They suggested that the feather might belong to the legendary golden phoenix, a mystical bird known to grant a single wish to whoever possessed one of its feathers. The king decided to keep the feather in his royal chamber, pondering what he could wish for that would benefit his kingdom the most. News of the golden feather spread quickly throughout the kingdom. People from all walks of life came to the palace, hoping to catch a glimpse of the magical feather. Many presented their requests to the king, asking for wealth, health, or personal favors. The king listened patiently to each request but did not make his wish immediately. The king had a vivid dream. In his dream, the golden phoenix appeared and spoke to him. "O wise king," the bird said, "your heart is pure, and your intentions are noble. The feather you found is indeed magical, and it will grant you one wish. Use it wisely." Upon waking, King Rajendra knew what he had to do. He summoned the people of his kingdom to the grand courtyard of the palace. As they gathered, he stood before them and held up the golden feather. "My dear sub," he began, "I have been granted the power to make one wish with this magical feather. After much thought, I have decided to use this wish not for myself, but for the well-being of all of you." The crowd murmured in anticipation, wondering what the king would wish for. With a clear and steady voice, King Rajendra made his wish. "I wish for everlasting wisdom, prosperity, and happiness for my kingdom and all its people." As soon as he spoke the words, the golden feather glowed brightly and dissolved into the air. A warm, radiant light spread across the kingdom, and the people felt an immediate sense of joy and contentment. The fields became more fertile, the rivers more abundantly, and the skies seemed clearer and more vibrant than ever before. From forward, the kingdom experienced an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity. The people thrived, and the king's wisdom guided them through any challenges that arose. King Rajendra's selfless wish had ensured the happiness and well-being of his people for generations to come. The legend of King and the Golden Feather was passed down through the ages, reminding everyone of the power of selflessness and the importance of ruling with a kind and just heart. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Aronia, there lived a clever and compassionate king named Suraj. King Suraj was renowned for his intelligence and fairness, and his people admired him deeply. Under his wise leadership, Aronia thrived and was known as the land of prosperity and peace. One day, King Suraj received news from a nearby village about an enchanted forest that had suddenly appeared overnight. The forest was said to be filled with strange and magical creatures, and the villagers were too frightened to enter it. Intrigued and concerned, King Suraj decided to investigate the mystery himself. Accompanied by his loyal advisors and a few brave guards, the king set out towards the enchanted forest. As they approached, they could see the forest glowing with an ethereal light. The trees were taller and more magnificent than any they had ever seen, and the air was filled with a sweet, enchanting fragrance. Upon entering the forest, the group encountered various magical creatures, talking animals, shimmering fairies, and even a wise old owl that spoke in riddles. Despite the beauty and wonder of the forest, King Suraj sensed an underlying problem. The creatures seemed restless and anxious, and the forest itself felt unsettled. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they came across a grand, ancient tree at the center. The tree seemed to pulsate with energy and had a large golden door carved into its trunk. Above the door was an inscription in a language none of the advisors could read. However, King Suraj, being well-versed in many languages, deciphered the message. It read, "Only the pure of heart may enter and restore harmony to the enchanted forest." Without hesitation, King Suraj placed his hand on the golden door. It opened slowly, revealing a hidden chamber within the tree. Inside, the king found a beautiful, glowing crystal floating above a pedestal. As he approached, a gentle voice echoed in the chamber. "King Suraj, your wisdom and kindness have led you here," the voice said. "This crystal is the heart of the enchanted forest. It has been corrupted by dark magic, causing unrest among the creatures. You must cleanse the crystal to restore peace." The king carefully lifted the crystal and closed his eyes, focusing all his positive energy and pure intentions on it. As he did, the crystal began to glow brighter, gradually changing from a murky hue to a brilliant, clear light. The dark magic was dispelled, and the crystal was restored to its original, pure state. King Suraj returned the crystal to its pedestal, and immediately, the forest began to transform. Trees and plants seemed to stand taller and bloom more vibrantly. The creatures rejoiced, and a sense of calm and harmony returned to the enchanted forest. The villagers, hearing of the king's bravery and wisdom, gathered at the edge of the forest to thank him. Suraj addressed them with humility, emphasizing the importance of courage, compassion, and purity of heart in overcoming challenges. The story of the clever king and the enchanted forest spread far and wide, becoming a legend that inspired many generations to come. King Suraj continued to rule Aronia with wisdom and kindness, always ready to face any challenge that came his way with a pure heart and a sharp mind. In a faraway land called Drakenvale, nestled between towering mountains and lush valleys, lived a young girl named Arya. Arya was known for her adventurous spirit and kind heart. She had always been fascinated by the legends of dragons that were said to inhabit the highest peaks of the mountains. One day, while exploring the edge of the forest near her village, Arya stumbled upon an old, weathered map. The map depicted a path leading to a hidden cave where a majestic dragon named Zephyr was said to dwell. Unlike the fearsome dragons of other tales, Zephyr was known to be wise and benevolent, guarding an ancient treasure that held the power to bring great fortune to the land. Intrigued and excited by the possibility of meeting a real dragon, Arya decided to follow the map. She packed a small bag with essentials and set off early the next morning, telling no one of her plans. The journey was arduous, with steep cliffs and narrow paths, but Arya's determination never wavered. As she climbed higher, the air grew thinner and colder. After several days of travel, she finally reached the entrance of the cave. Taking a deep breath to steady her nerves, Arya stepped inside. The cave was vast and dark, with only the faint glow of crystals embedded in the walls lighting her way. Deeper into the cave, she found Zephyr. The dragon was enormous, with shimmering silver scales and wise, gentle eyes. Zephyr noticed Arya and spoke in a deep, resonant voice. "Who dares to enter my domain?" Zephyr asked, his voice echoing through the cavern. Gathering her courage, Arya stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "I am Arya, from the village of Drakenvale. I have come to seek your wisdom and perhaps find the treasure that can help my people." Zephyr's eyes softened at her bravery and sincerity. "Many have come before you, seeking only riches," he said. "But you, young one, seem different. You seek not for yourself, but for others. That is the mark of true bravery." Zephyr decided to test Arya's intentions. He led her to 3 doors deep within the cave. "Behind one of these doors lies the treasure you seek," he explained. "Behind the other 2, there are challenges that will test your heart and mind. Choose wisely." Arya stood before the doors, contemplating her choice. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and followed her intuition. She chose the door on the left. As it creaked open, she found herself in a beautiful garden, filled with vibrant flowers and a serene pond. In the center of the garden was a pedestal with a small, ornate box. Arya approached it and opened the box to find a glowing crystal and a parchment. The parchment read, "The true treasure is the wisdom and courage you carry within. Use this crystal to bring light and prosperity to your village." Zephyr appeared beside her and nodded approvingly. "You have chosen wisely, Arya. This crystal will indeed bring great fortune to your land. But remember, it is your bravery and kind heart that are the true treasures." Arya thanked Zephyr and made her way back to her village. Upon her return, she used the crystal as instructed, and it brought an abundance of crops, clean water, and prosperity to Drakenvale. The villagers celebrated her bravery and selflessness, and the story of Arya and the benevolent dragon Zephyr became a legend passed down through generations. In a distant realm, beyond the mountains and across the seas, there existed a mystical world known as Draconia. This land was unlike any other, inhabited by majestic dragons of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Draconia was a place where magic thrived, and the dragons lived in harmony with nature, guarding ancient secrets and powerful artifacts. At the heart of Draconia was the great dragon city, Draconos, built within a massive volcano. The city was a marvel of dragon architecture, with towering spires and vast halls carved from the volcanic rock. The dragons lived in peace, led by their wise and powerful leader, Elder Draconis. Elder Draconis was the oldest and wisest of all dragons, his scales shimmering like polished gold. He possessed knowledge of the ancient world and held the key to the most powerful artifact in Draconia, the dragon's heart. This artifact was said to grant immense power and was the source of the magic that sustained their world. One day, a dark omen appeared in the sky. A comet, black as night, streaked across the heavens and crashed into the far reaches of Draconia, unleashing a wave of darkness that threatened to engulf the land. From the impact site emerged a fearsome creature, the shadow dragon Malachar. Malachar was a dragon consumed by dark magic, exiled centuries ago for his malevolent deeds. Now he had returned, more powerful and vengeful than ever. Malachar's presence disrupted the balance of Draconia, causing the dragons to grow restless and fearful. Knowing the threat Malachar posed, Elder Draconis called a council of the greatest dragons to devise a plan to protect their world. Among the gathered dragons were Ignis, the fire dragon, known for his fierce temper and fiery breath; Aurelia, the light dragon, possessing the ability to heal and illuminate the darkest paths; Zephyr, the wind dragon, swift and agile, controlling the winds with grace; Nerissa, the water dragon, calm and wise, with the power to control the oceans; Terran, the earth dragon, strong and steadfast, capable of moving mountains. Together, they formed a council of guardians to protect Draconia from Malachar's dark influence. Elder Draconis spoke to the council. To defeat Malachar, we must unite our strengths and find the lost crystal of light, hidden deep within the crystal caverns. This crystal is the only thing powerful enough to counter Malachar's dark magic. The guardians set out on a perilous journey to the crystal caverns, facing numerous challenges along the way. They traversed through treacherous landscapes, battled dark creatures corrupted by Malachar's magic, and solved ancient riddles guarding the caverns. At the entrance to the crystal caverns, they encountered a final challenge, a guardian spirit who tested their unity and resolve. Each dragon had to demonstrate their unique abilities and trust in one another to pass the test. When they succeeded, the guardian spirit allowed them to enter the caverns. Deep within the caverns, they found the crystal of light, glowing with pure, radiant energy. With the crystal in their possession, they returned to Draconos, where Malachar had begun his assault on the city. In a climactic battle, the guardians faced Malachar. The dark dragon's power was formidable, but with the combined might of the crystal of light and their unity, they managed to weaken him. Elder Draconis, using his ancient wisdom, sealed Malachar away, ensuring he could never return to threaten Draconia again. Peace returned to Draconia, and the dragons celebrated their victory. The crystal of light was placed in the heart of Draconos, its radiant energy spreading throughout the land, restoring balance and harmony. The legend of the guardians and their brave journey became a cherished story, passed down through generations, reminding all dragons of the power of unity and the strength of their hearts.